This is Western Mass News on ABC 40.
Facing a judge this morning, a Chicopee firefighter accused of the weekend stabbing and killing of his girlfriend who worked at the Hampden County Sheriff's Office. Welcome everyone to Western Mass News at 4 on this Tuesday. I'm Chris Pisano. Western Mass News reporter Reagan Locree now joins us live in studio with what happened today in court. Reagan.
Chris, a 52-year-old Jason Chapdelaine appeared before a judge this morning where he pleaded not guilty to the murder of his girlfriend, 48-year-old Eileen Monahan, who worked as the executive assistant to the Hampden County Sheriff Nick Cochee until the time of her death. On Tuesday morning, a sea of navy blue representing the Hampden County Sheriff's Department and others in the law enforcement community sat side by side with friends and family in court to show their support for the woman they called a friend as her accused killer faced a judge.
It's really kind of surreal. When we all got the call over the weekend that, Eileen had been murdered, it was really pure shock.
Investigators say 48-year-old Eileen Monahan was allegedly stabbed to death by her boyfriend, 52-year-old Chicopee firefighter Jason Chapdelaine, who has since been placed on unpaid leave. It was early Sunday morning when Hoyok police responded to the area of South Water Street after receiving calls of a disturbance. Officers discovered Chapdelaine suffering from self-inflicted injuries in Monahan with fatal stab wounds. The Hampden County Sheriff's Office confirming on Facebook Monday morning that the victim was in fact Eileen Monahan, executive assistant to Hampden County Sheriff Nick Cochee. Western Mass News spoke with the Sheriff Department's Public Information Officer Robert Rizzuto following Tuesday's emotional court arraignment. He shares how those who worked with Eileen are feeling after losing one of their own to domestic violence.
Being on the law enforcement side of things, you're used to things like this to a degree. I don't want to say you become numb to it, but it's an unfortunate part of life. But when it hits so close to home, it really resonates deeper. You have that level of empathy for the victims and what their families go through all the time. And when you find yourself in that position, it shakes you.
Monahan's family also lost her brother to cancer less than 10 days before her murder. And in the wake of such tragedy, her family has seen an outpouring of support from friends and both current and former colleagues, such as retired State Representative Joe Wagner, who referred to her as his closest friend after she served as his chief of staff while he was in office.
And although nothing will bring Eileen back or fill the hole that's going to be carried in the hearts of her family and her children from now through the end of their lives, the focus now between Sheriff Cochee and leader Joe Wagner is to ensure that her daughters are taken care of, that they have what they need, and including the support to go forward and live the rest of their lives the best they can.
Congressman Richard Neal also releasing a statement that reads, quote, "I have had the pleasure of knowing the Monahan family for many years, and my heart goes out to them. During this difficult time, Eileen was truly kind and intelligent person who dedicated her life to public service. She committed herself to making her community a better place, and the lives that she touched are grieving this profound loss, one that was far too soon." And Rizzuto tells us the Sheriff's Department is working on doing something to honor Eileen's memory and show support for her daughters once the time is right. Chapdelaine is being held without the right to bail. His next court appearance will be May 13th, and tonight at 6, Western Mass News has obtained court documents as well as a police report that detail what happened that fateful night when Eileen Monahan was murdered. Those horrifying details coming up tonight. Reporting live in studio, Reagan Locree for Western Mass News.